Yeah, but we were on the subject of Google and
Google.
whatnot, and Google Stadia, right? This awesome product that thousands and thousands of
Awesome
people
product,
are getting,
man.
and
Tens of people.
they selling big.
Yeah.
Right.
Huge, man.
Decided that they were gonna stop making first party games. They shut down all of their first party studios.
Yeah.
And they decided that they're only gonna focus on third party games, like Call of Duty and
Destiny,
all the other ones. Yeah, Destiny, everything else that isn't Google related. So what do you think was going through their minds on this? Do you think that they've made so much profit that they were just like, F it, we don't need that money?
No, I think it costs way too much money, and they didn't get a return on their investments. Because there's one game that I've been waiting for. It's the Orcs
Must Die. You kept
Orcs
talking
Must
about
Die.
that.
I've
It's
been
like the
waiting
fifth time you've talked
for
about this.
that
Yeah.
Is it
game.
like 3 or something?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's only on the Google Stadia. So
And they canceled it, huh?
well, if you go on my point was if you go on any Orcs Must Die Reddit, video, YouTube, Facebook, everyone's like, the Stadia sucks. Bring it to PC. The Stadia sucks. Bring it to Xbox. Literally, no one cares about how awesome the gameplay. Everyone is just ripping on the Stadia. Like, when is this coming to Xbox? When is
so
this
they weren't
coming to
even giving it
PlayStation?
the time of
When
day.
is this coming to PC? That's literally every video, everything about Orcs Must Die. They're just saying, hey guys, we got a new trailer for you. Everyone's just like, when is this coming to everything but the Stadia? So I think that tells you they're exclusives because the audience is so small. Like I don't know a single person I know one person who has a Google Stadia who plays games on it, but I don't know. Do you guys know anybody?
No.
So
I know I've heard of people like on YouTube and stuff.
No, I've
like
never
that,
seen
who
a
get the
single
shit
person
for
in real
free
life
that,
who has it. Yeah.
We're playing it and stuff.
So exclusives don't work when only one person will play them. You know what I mean? So I think they realize that now, and they're like, all right, let's just
no one bought the system.
Let's just make money like you're saying with PlayStation on their store. Let's make money on our marketplace when people buy whatever.
But no one's
game
buying the
from
Stadia.
us.
Now people have even less of a reason to buy Stadia, though. So that's the problem.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, this feels like the end of Stadia.
This feels like the decline. This feels like
I know, like they're saying, like, oh, we're transitioning, to be more of a platform than a, service. But the problem is, like, you just gave people even less of a reason to buy your system. Like, people didn't have much of a reason before, but now you've given them less of a reason, and it makes people think like, oh, you're dying, aren't you? Like, it makes people start thinking that. Like, I don't want to get on that plane now.
Well, let me ask you.
I don't want to jump on board.
Does Steam have their own games?
No.
Yes.
So Steam,
they
Steam
do.
has
Yeah,
exclusives?
like Half-Life Alyx and Half-Life. That's all made by Steam.
They have all the games made
so
by
it's
Valve.
all made by Valve.
By Valve, yes.
Valve, yes.
Valve
Okay.
is Steam.
So they have a lot of exclusives.
So they have a lot though.
Well, a lot.
I would say
but
I
they
would
have
say
many.
over their life
They have
cycle.
many. Yeah.
Over their
I don't know if a
life
lot's the
cycle,
right word or not.
They've
Yeah.
had a lot of exclusives because I've had Steam since maybe 2004.
It's almost like.
Are you talking
required
about
when you have a
exclusives
PC.
that are only available on Steam or
Yes.
that Valve developed?
Well, at a
I would
certain
say they're
point,
like one.
Because
and
they
the
have lots
same.
of games that you can only get like through Steam, but
Right,
that
I
doesn't
would-
mean they developed.
I would
I'm
say
talking
that's
about
probably
exclusives
like
from
one and
okay.
the same.
Oh,
yeah.
From
I would
not
say-
from Valve, but just on Steam.
Yes,
Okay,
I'll say over
yeah.
the life that they
Yeah,
did
there are
have
lots.
a good amount,
Yeah.
but nowadays because of Epic and everyone
Yeah.
else, they're not as.
There are
common.
quite a few
They're not as
games that I
common.
got that I was only able to get on Steam. And then there are some games that Steam themselves developed.
Yes,
Like Half-Life Alyx and Half-Life and
So,
Counter-Strike.
I mean,
Counter-Strike that they actually made themselves.
Yes.
Maybe they're trying to employ that type of frame, like Steam, like where if you wanted to get like a legit game on your mobile phone or be able to play it on anything, you just buy it on Stadia, and there's maybe they're able to talk to a couple of third party developers to just make games strictly for Stadia. I mean, maybe a couple would probably pull like a small branch that just works on Stadia.
I just don't know
games.
how Stadia competes in the market right now with Game Pass and with Steam
They're pretty
and with the
non-existent,
new
I'm sure.
consoles coming out.
Epic.
Epic. Why
Everybody.
join their ecosystem? That's what I'm having a hard time, like emphasizing. Like, why would I, as a gamer, want to buy a Stadia? I feel like that I'm not already being serviced by on the other platforms that I have. What are they offering me?
I feel like that would be the only thing for us would be a specific game that was only coming out on Stadia. And
I would
think
have to
that
be
there
more
would
than a
be-
specific game, man. I'd have to be like
Well, I mean,
serious games.
There's people that I've talked to that legit don't have a PlayStation, but they would buy a PlayStation if they heard that the new God of War Ragnarok was coming out this year. that they would go and buy one. So I mean, there are some, right, that would literally buy like a whole new console or whatever just to play one game. And this is way cheaper than buying like a whole $500 console.
I mean, it would have to be
It's
like a
$30.
crazy good
They would need
games.
like a Pokemon
It had to
style.
be something
It doesn't
big,
have to
dude.
be that big because
Yeah.
it's only $30 to get in the door with Google Stadia.
It had to be a big one. Like, for instance, let's say they made Hitman 3 exclusive on Stadia. That's not going to draw me in. Yeah, it's a guy exclusive
Right.
games, yo. It's a big one.
There's a lot
But
of
it's not
Hitman
big
fans.
enough.
I don't think
Yeah, it's
it
not
would
big
be.
This
enough.
is what they would have to do. So Epic gives. I have like over 20 or 30 free games on Epic. They give really like good modern games for free. Stadia would have to do the same thing.
That I agree
Hey, guys.
with. Free games.
Spend $30, buy a controller,
Yes,
and
free
you can play
games.
this brand new Hitman for free.
Yes,
for the
that's
first.
where I would
Now
be inclined.
they did give you access to some type of a package or whatever, right? That would allow you to play like some free games on their.
It's
their
a
Google
service I
Stadia.
think they have like $6 or $7,
Yeah.
and you get
Yeah.
some free games, but it's nothing like Game Pass.
Yeah.
No, I'm not too much is like
Yeah,
Game
yeah.
Pass.
I mean,
at
Game
this
Pass
moment.
costs more, but you get so much more.
Right.
Like, it's not even close.
So
That's
I mean,
what I'm
maybe
saying.
for your bang.
No,
for your
I'm
buck
thinking
or
more like
something.
what Mark's saying. You buy the controller and you get to play these AAAs for free. Yeah, you're not gonna have a lot, but you have enough that's like,
Yeah.
okay, now it's worth buying this
Yeah.
system.
But do you offer? So you don't charge. So you're saying no charge of like some type of online service at all
Because
to
they're
play
moving
these
towards
games?
third party, like, so they're not offering anything more than I can already get on any of my other platforms. That's what I'm saying. Because it's third party, so that means I can
Right.
play it on everything anyway. So what am I getting the Stadia for? That's what I'm saying. Why I think this is just like it's like a white flag, man. I like it's surrender. We've lost. You know, we
Yeah.
can't compete,
I feel like
which is
I
shocking
feel-
for Google. They don't fill up much.
Yeah, I feel like if it was able to make its way to like a Nintendo Switch or something, that'd probably be a game changer for it. I
What
mean,
the
if you're-
service on the Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, like if you're able to literally get on the best handheld ever, and and play like top tier games, but you're not.
Aren't you held back
not
by the
suffering.
the Switch's hardware?
I
Well, if you're
mean,
just
we've
streaming
heard those
People
talks of the
hate some like
Switch
Phoenix
Pro.
like runs terrible. Like people hate
Yeah.
certain third party games on the Switch.
But at the same time, right, you're talking about a game that's utilizing the hardware on the Switch to play. We're talking about a
Streaming,
a streaming service
Oh,
that
streaming.
just
But
utilizes
streaming's still not there. But yeah,
it's
Yeah,
web based or
streaming's
whatever to be able to
fine.
do it.
I
So
think
it
Nin-
might produce.
yeah.
It might be able to play. I don't know, GTA
Hitman 3 or
or
whatever.
something
I know what you
like
mean.
that
Yeah, a new
Yeah.
game.
at high quality
Yeah.
on this,
Yeah.
Switch. Like it would
But
revitalize
think
the
that-
Switch if it
I
was
think
able
all the
to.
Switch is already
competitors-
revitalized, man. It's like selling just as good as the PlayStation is.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you don't think that it would like double in sales just off
I
of
would
whatever
say
it's getting
the
right now,
competitors
if,
wouldn't
like,
allow. I don't think Nintendo would allow like Google Stadia.
Well, and that too. That's another hurdle.
Probably on their
allowing
marketplace.
it
No?
on
You
Nintendo.
don't think
Because
so?
think about it, freaking Apple doesn't want to let Game Pass on the streaming the xCloud. I feel like they're like people are just staying in their own lane kind of thing.
Well, they're not. It's not that they're not letting them. It's that they're making them jump through these hoops.
Yeah.
Dude,
to be
Nintendo
able to
wants you
do
to
it.
buy
It
their
will
games,
be
not someone
on. It
else's
will
games.
be on
One day.
Game Pass. I mean, Game Pass will be on iOS at some point. I think this year. It was their game plan, but they just have to jump through so many hoops just to get it on there because it's not just a straightforward app. It's you gotta make it like this. It's gotta go
Yeah.
like this through some stuff. Go around this in
Yeah.
order to be able to enjoy it. I could see something like that being
Yeah.
able to go on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, I wouldn't see why you wouldn't want it on there, right? Like they can't get any of my proprietary stuff like my Marios and Zeldas and all that. I still got those. That's my bread and butter is, those IPs that always sell. By
They
the
don't.
dozens.
The reason why I
Pokemon.
think that they would be stingy on it is because I think Nintendo looks at their brand as like, I don't know. This is a bad comparison, but like Rolls Royce, or like Apple, like very exclusive and fashioned in a way that they even got out of the mobile business because that's what they said. They thought it was hurting their brand. And I think there is an image associated with like mobile games. I think there is an image associated with like streaming. Oh, this is just a jank, hand-me-down service. This isn't the real deal. And I don't think Nintendo ever wants to be viewed as anything other than the real deal 100% of the time, because their brand is like important to them. Like it's like an exclusive kind of thing. Nintendo, like you join the club kind of thing, and they don't want their brand or any of their characters or any of their IPs damaged in any way. And I think they might think that doing some kind of like third party simplistic Google Stadia streaming service could maybe water down their brand. I think I can see them thinking
It's
that
not
way.
It's not even.
Even
like,
if it does or not, I just can see them thinking that way. Like, no, we're pristine. I don't want anything rippling this pristine lake,
But
that we've built.
At the same time, right? It's not like they're offering the streaming service. It's they're allowing a streaming service to be played on their console. But at the same time, like, I mean, who in their right mind is like going and getting Call of Duty?
I'm just saying
for
they're
the
very
Switch
stingy.
and like enjoying.
They're very stingy
when you
on what
see
they
everything
allow to
else.
come into their marketplace.
Yeah.
They're very stingy, just like Apple is.
Mhm.
Very selective and like
Yeah.
just allowing a service to come in and just like puke games onto their system. I don't think that that's like in their DNA. Like I don't know.
They're weird about
Yeah.
anything, like people who stream their games. People like they're so weird. Like they don't even, for the longest time, you couldn't even stream Nintendo games. You couldn't make YouTube content unless you're like a Nintendo ambassador. Like they had all these weird like regulations. They didn't want people, the average person.
I don't
even
think they
showing.
want to be turned into being, oh, that's the place you go and you just have a marketplace of games. I think they want to be like an iconic brand with imagery and things. Like they are, like Nintendo is.
Yeah.
It
would be nice if they just like
Nintendo
stopped
brand matters
even-
more to them than anything, even
Yeah.
profits. I think.
But if to me, it would be nice if they were just like, okay, let's stick to making everything that's on this console pretty much like first party, like all of the ones that make. We've been making games for this and stuff, but the games that you can buy on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox, whatever, make those available through Stadia, and you'd actually get that quality by playing through Stadia. You know what I mean? So we don't waste our time you developing a shitty version of that game to put on our system. You just make it for Google.
Yeah, but I'm just
Stadia.
asking you, think
Stadia's
about
a
it.
great play
If
on
that
my
happened and we all start playing all our third-party games on Nintendo, does it kind of, in a sense, kind of stop feeling like Nintendo? Or does it start turning into like just like a Vita or just like a platform service that we're just playing our games on? And does Nintendo's brand get watered down a little bit?
I don't
Does
think.
it transform a bit?
To me, I don't think
Like
Nintendo's
thinking down
brand,
the line,
I
like
don't
if that's what
think-
it became.
Well, to me, I don't think Nintendo's brand would get watered down because at the same time, I bought a Nintendo to play like Mario's, to play the Zeldas, whatever. Those games are still gonna be there. It's just that now I have something else that I'm able to play on my Nintendo. Now, do I care if people
But
bought my Nintendo
isn't that kind
just
of a
to play
pivot though?
mobile
Isn't
games?
that kind of a pivot?
To just allow a service
Moving
on my
to
console?
streaming, and now you're streaming like thousands of different mobile, all sorts of different games, mobile games, third-party games. That seems like a kind of a pivot to me,
Well, I think
away from just being the Nintendo brand.
I think you're thinking of it as like Nintendo opening up their own streaming service. I'm just saying allow somebody to stream something on my
There's
console.
no that's
if
semantics
you
to me.
if you didn't have a Nintendo Switch, right? I've been making my games. I got all of my sales and I'm still continuing to get sales. But you who never had a Switch saw that there was a way that you could play all of those dope ass third party games that are available on every console anyways. But you're able to play them at a high quality on my console, and you bought one of my consoles just so you could play Call of Duty at 60 frames per second or whatever
You're
that
not
it's
gonna play at
offering.
60 frames per second.
Whatever,
I know
whatever Google
you're
Stadia's
fashioning this
producing.
dreamland where like streaming is like just as high quality as the consoles, but it isn't. Like it's not even close. Streaming isn't even close. It's a very watered down, dumbed down version of gaming. It's not good. Like it's some games are okay.
say it depends on the
but
game.
It's way better, man. Having the actual game
Yeah, of
on your
course.
hard drive, like
For sure.
it's
For
way
sure.
better.
Way
Like
better.
I just don't think Nintendo would want something like that on their system.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just don't think there's enough I think if the Nintendo was tanking, it might be a good strategy
That's
for
because
them.
of the pivot, right? It's kind of a pivot.
But I just think it's too much. Like, I don't think Nintendo would benefit as much as Google Stadia would potentially benefit. So
Shit,
you know.
maybe like a deal with Google Stadia as to like, hey, I let you put this on my system, but every time that you got a subscriber, you give me some money, kind of like what GameStop and Microsoft had.
yeah.
Where it
in
was
store.
like, I'll buy some of your company, and and then I get
Yeah.
some money on this back end from all
Yeah.
of these. You'll get something for all of these sales or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But this is a little different. But I'm just curious when the Amazon Luna comes out. Is it gonna have the same fate as
I
Google
think so.
Stadia?
I think
Because
so.
if Google can't do it and Amazon can't do
Mhm.
it, this can't be done. Let's just go back to
Well, just because Microsoft is dominating it, right? And Steam is dominating. I just think Steam and Microsoft are dominating it right now.
I just wish
The streaming
I just wish
platform.
Microsoft
Not
did
just
this,
streaming,
man.
just the puking out of games, easily accessible puke it out of games, not just streaming. But,
Plus, we don't want another ecosystem. We already have the PSN.
yeah, ecosystems.
That's-
I
we
think
already
that's
have,
what I'm
like,
saying. Yeah,
it's just
ecosystems.
too many, dude. It's
I
just-
think
yeah.
Microsoft and Steam are kind of dominating the ecosystem, gaming ecosystems right now, as far as like online
Epic
online
hasn't started to
gaming,
dominate.
and Epic too.
Epic's doing good.
Yeah, but I'm saying
On
there's
the
not a lot
rise.
of space there left. Where did they squeeze in?
Yeah,
like at
'cause-
what angle are they
'cause
coming
think
in
about
that
it.
are doing something different for me that those aren't
Yeah,
already
let's
doing?
just think about it. EA introduced their store, crashed. You know what I mean? They tried,
Uplay.
Mhm.
and then Uplay has one, and now I would say it's very hard to get into that, that market.
Yeah.
But
You have to have an angle. I just don't see where the angle is. I
It
just don't
seems
see
like it seems like a lot of these companies though are just starting to add their little version of Game Pass or whatever as just like an extra. Like
Yeah.
we can. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like you're still gonna buy these games that we made. You know, there's still gonna be tons of people that just buy the games for one-offs
yeah,
and not pay our service. But if you like, we got the service here for you. Kind of like NBC adding a streaming service
yeah.
or like
I
some
hate
of
all
these other
those.
ones.
Yeah,
like
I think
I'm not
I-
watching shit on NBC.
I think there's some
you know,
room
like-
for streaming services like Game Pass still,
absolutely.
where like they can maybe fit in there, but
Mhm.
they're not going at that to the same degree like that Microsoft is.
Dude,
Yeah, they
'cause-
wouldn't be able to compete with that.
Yeah,
they
but
could
that's what you'd
probably
have
live
to
in
do.
that
I think
world.
there's room in that market
For
in
them
that-
to do it.
Yeah,
Like
for
if-
someone else
if-
to come in, like Amazon
Yeah.
or Google, to come into and compete with Game Pass. I don't think there's room for them to compete as an ecosystem because
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to be, an ecosystem. And
Yeah.
we have enough ecosystems. We have enough
No, too many.
that we get everything we need from everywhere.
That are
What are you offering me?
solidified.
Yeah, that are solidified. Like, what am I have my computer ecosystem and I have my gaming ecosystem. I mean, my console ecosystem. Why do I need
Yeah.
your ecosystem too?
Because Epic is literally giving out like really good games every week. Like, hey, come to our store. We're giving you like. They even got I forgot what game it was. Total War. One of the new Total Wars. It was exclusive to the Epic store at that time, and it was free on on launch. It was an exclusive, and it was free, and you got the first DLC if you added it to your cart within the first week.
That's what you need to do.
So they're literally
Yeah.
going that far. Like, hey, this is exclusive to us for now. It's on Steam and stuff, but they're literally going that far. Giving you brand new games, exclusives.
We'll see
day
we'll
one.
see what Prime does. We'll see what Amazon does. Maybe they can go in
'Cause if
that
someone
direction
can
with
do it, I
Prime,
think they could.
Um,
Amazon could do it.
Yeah, they could try to do something that compete with GameStop on like a subscription service where you have like all these games to play. I just hope it's not streaming. If it's streaming based, then that is a turnoff for me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
5-10
think
years away. I think.
Luna is supposed to be a streaming service, but I think it
Yeah.
was supposed to be like you could purchase it and be able to play it on your PC or whatever.
Hope so.
Not whatever, but
Right.
either Luna or your PC.
Yeah.
I hope
that
it
you
ties
could
to your
play it.
Amazon account.
I mean, I guess
and-
I just don't trust streaming yet.
okay.
If
That's
streaming,
fair.
right?
I think
it's close. I think it's close.
our
because I didn't.
internet infrastructure
I think
needs
it
to be greatly
depends-
improved.
I think
in
it depends
order
on the
for it to
game.
be really beneficial.
If it's like an old game like God of War or something, I think
Yeah.
maybe it could work.
Let's just say something like Stardew
But if you're
Valley.
trying to play,
that'll
yeah,
probably work.
exactly, I agree with that. But if
you
you're
might
trying to
play
play
that.
Call of Duty Black Ops,
No, not any multiplayer.
you
game.
can't, right?
No.
Like if you're trying
It
to
would be
play
lag. You'd
The
have a
Last
lot
of
of
Us
issues.
2, you're probably not going to be happy. Anything modern, I don't think that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
yes, for some things it works. When it gets to the place where it just works,
Yeah.
where it just works, right? Like gaming works. When it gets to that place, which I can see at some point in time
Oh,
it
yeah.
will, then I can see Luna and Stadia. I think it's a little too soon, I think, for streaming.
Yeah.
You know?
I think we're close, but yeah.
I love you, me.